Orono, Minnesota. We're excited to have you on board for this afternoon edition of Hockey Night in Minnesota. The Orono Spartans and the Blake Bears ready to do battle in this girls' Class A matchup between a couple of ranked teams. Orono number 4 in the state in the Care 11 Top 11 Power Rankings preseason. We'll have a new one coming out on Tuesday, and this game will certainly have an impact on those rankings. And, of course, the Blake Bears arriving at number 5 as we look to the starting goaltenders for this afternoon's contest. For the Blake Bears, Janie McGaughan, of course, will get the start. 1-1 with a 2.0 goals against average, and of course a .907 save percentage on the other end. Vivian Anderson has had a great start to the season for Orono. Her numbers, 2-0, 1.0 goals against, and of course a .952 save percentage for Anderson as well. So a great start for her in goal as Orono is off to a 2-0 start. Picked up a nice win over Holy Angels here on Thursday night. And then, of course, the Blake Bears, had a loss to Breck 4-2. That was a hard-fought game between those two teams, who will, of course, meet again later in the regular season. This, though, the only regular season meeting between Orono and Blake. Should be a fun one here as we're underway. Albrecht's back in the corner for Orono. Bounce pass, unable to find a connection there. And down the ice it goes for Orono. This is Alex Christian, one of the standout players for this team. As Christian takes a tumble, trying to get that puck into the zone. Stripped away by Nola Dallum. Now Dallum fanned on the clearance. Puck still available near the near side boards. This is pushed back into the Orono zone. Anderson trying to go after it now. Blake up top, trying to get that through. That's Christian. And down into the corner it will go for nesting in for Blake. Now Christian back to get it. This is Sydney Christian, number 23 in white. Trying to go up the boards here. Bears able to keep that alive along the wall. Cycled back around, and here's a chance right out in front. Kick save Anderson. What a stop. Early on, had to extend that right pad out all the way there to make the save. Certainly the best opportunity of the game there for the Blake Bears. And you see Anderson coming up big with that right pad to keep this game scoreless here. 15-14 to go in the period. There's another shot deflected on the way through to Anderson as she got a little extra shove there from a Blake player who looked like got shoved by an Orono player. So a little domino effect there as Anderson able to make a big save. Already 2 shots, 2 great opportunities for Blake. Puck will come out of the zone and be taken back now by the Bears as it's bounced out through center. Blake will pick up the loose puck as we're about 2.5 minutes into the opening period. No score. Nice move down the wing. Anderson shuts the door in a hard collision there with the boards by Addie Wethington, the junior defender, who of course comes from a long line of Wethingtons that have played girls hockey here for the Blake Bears. Of course, you have Maddie Wethington, who won the Miss Hockey Award back in the day. A lot of other great Wethingtons have come through, and of course, Addie Wethington is certainly among that list. Chance right off the face-off, and falling to the ice, getting the shot off was Hannah Jones, who is playing her former team here this afternoon. Jones, of course, was a member for Orono for a couple of years. transferred into Blake last year and had 17 points in her first season. Tie up off the faceoff. Work down low to the corner. Trying to fish that free was Layla Dallum. Now Dallum off the boards. Working there with Allie Borms. So we're now about 3 minutes into the opening period. Now Alex Christian will take it here. Spartans look to go back up off the stick of Christian. Recovering it now is Lillian Peck. Peck racing into the zone. Hard shot goes wide there of McGaughan. Christian will be on it as well. Board battle in the corner. It's been all Blake to start so far. 4 shots for the Bears. And they'll get it back in the offensive zone. Bella Bisbee, one of the seniors on this Blake team that's going to be important for the Bears. Orono will go back to the point. Anderson, that's Sydney Anderson with the shot attempt. He's going to go into the netting and out of play. So a whistle and a stoppage, as we mentioned. This is the first and only meeting of the season between these two teams. Could very well be a matchup that we see at the girls high school hockey state tournament, Class A. It's been Orono that has made this state tournament now a handful of years in a row. I think every year dating back to 2022 when the Spartans made it. Of course, they have not won the state title. They've come close a couple of times. Another shot on goal is handled by McGaughan. Actually, that officially is the first shot of the game for the Spartans on Janie McGaughan. So we'll get a face-off to the right. Right off the face-off. Nola Dallum with speed down the wing. Anderson there to break it up. Their chance. Falling down was one of the Blake attackers. Now Dallum trying to go to the point. Shot doesn't get through on the attempt there from Kyle. Orona will play it out of the zone. And Logan will send that in deep. Played with a high stick here by Blake, but it won't matter as Orono touches the puck. Now Blake with it. Hein Miller down the wing. Trying to get this forward. Anderson will cover up for another whistle. Off the face-off, that chance is broken up. That was Reese Palmstein. They're still working in the offensive zone here. Kept alive by Palmstein. Back down low to the far corner now. This is Ella Bond for the Bears. Gave that one up. It's turned over. Hard to play down the wing. Lopez waiting for that puck to come free. Here's Lopez off the side of the net. Great look there for Gabby Lopez trying to strike for Orono. Of course, the younger sister of Zoe Lopez, who graduated last year for the Spartans. Of course, now playing at Minnesota State Mankato. Puck back to neutral ice here. Bond able to get it deep. Sent right back out by the Spartans. As they will take it. Break now for Peck. And alone, here's Peck and stopped by McGaughan. Great save. Janie McGaughan coming up big on a couple of opportunities. Now Williams into the zone, and she'll let this one go deep. Christian under pressure. Got some assistance there as well from Emery Lang. Puck staying momentarily on the blue line, but now it pops out. Bears trying to get it back into the O zone. They stay on side. Here's a chance slid wide by Souvenier. Up to the point. Up top now. Messington. That shot may have been deflected. Will go to the boards. Boy, a high energy, high pace start here for both these teams. No feeling out process needed here. It's been a good start. The late offside. Orono will tag up. Shots on goal right now are 5-3 in favor of Blake. But the last handful, or last few, I should say, have gone to Janie McGaughan of the Blake Bears with a couple of saves. Orono with some good looks there. Blake's got it now. Trying to clear from the defensive zone. Halverson, who scored the other night, will dump it in deep. Back to play it is Nessington. Comes out of the zone. Orono will retrieve. And Sydney Christian picks it up. 10-10 to go here in the first. No score between these two top 5 girls Class A teams. Very well could be a state tournament preview type game here between these two. Dahlem down the wing. Anderson will steer that one aside. Chance from Heinmiller. Now Arthur picks it up. Here's Arthur toward the front. That'll trickle its way to the corner. Now Sydney Christian will go back to play it here off the skate. Puck trying to be picked up now by the Spartans in their own end. Clearance attempt doesn't work. Bisbee keeps it alive. It's blocked. Now a break for Gabby Lopez. Putting on the Jets here. Here's Lopez and blasts it wide. I think that puck was fully settled there. Lopez back out in front. Was looking for Rauch. Pops to the point. Lang's shot. Deflects in on McGaughan, who makes the save. Now Lang's still with it. Lang will dump it in the corner here. Lopez, or pardon me, that was Lucy Rauch. Back out in front looking for Lopez, who got knocked down. Lopez, though, sticks with it. Out in front, nice save by McGaughan. They were looking for Lucy Rauch on that opportunity. And a terrific chance there, but again, the save made. Almost halfway through the first period now. Shots are close to being even, 6-5 in favor of the Bears. Puck will come out here, 8:40 to go. So we mentioned Orono 2-0 on the year, coming off a nice win over Holy Angels on Thursday night. Brandon Spratt was here at the Orono Morrison Arena for that one. And then, of course, the Blake Bears had a good battle against Breck that they ended up losing 4-2. But really good game between those two, and Blake is offside here. Just a little bit early on the entry was Ella Bond, who already has 2 goals on the season so far. Anna Jones, right now the leading scorer for Blake with 3 goals and 1 assist, total of 4 points. And of course, this only game number 3 for these two teams of the 25-game regular season. So we got a long way to go before thinking of the state tournament in February or anything like that. But it goes quick. This is a big opportunity for these teams here this afternoon. And Hockey Night in Minnesota, afternoon edition here on KARE 11 Plus. Thanks for joining us. Matt Harrington with you from the Orono Morrison Ice Arena. Blake now with an opportunity in the O-zone. Up to the point. Down low. Oh, deflects wide. It'll be chased after now by Mackenzie Williams. One of the newcomers here to this Blake squad this year is Williams. Forced back out front, played off the boards. And Orono will take it forward now. Alex Christian with some space. Christian will send that one in off the glass. McGaughan out to cut it off. Lang. D now bounced off the boards. Good play into the zone. Madison Felton for Orono will chase after this one. Felton couldn't get to it. Good opportunity there for the Bears to get this puck out. This one's going to stay in play as Blake will pick it up. 7:10 to go here in the first period. Just kept alive by Anderson as it's deposited to the corner. Blake again trying to get this puck out. Now they do as Ralph will get it back for teammates. Good entry here. Hartman with a shot in the glove save made by McGaughan. Well, when you look at this Blake roster, or this Orono roster rather, no seniors on varsity. It has been a very steady program over the years, and of course, big loss for Orono this year. They lost Maddie Kimbrell, who transferred to Holy Family. But Orono's still a very young team, and they have shown that they can be competitive still, even with hardly no seniors on this roster. So could be a team that is a problem for the next handful of years, as they already have been, the amount of talent that has come through this system. Now Gabby Lopez dropping it back, but it's turned over. Alverson kept it alive momentarily. Now the Bears will play it off the boards. Going back through center. Orono trying to get back as Albrecht played off the wall. Dumped into the zone by Blake. And Lopez will send it deep. Vaughn will dump that off there for Catherine Kyle, freshman defender for the Bears. Backhanded off the wall. Lang in her own defensive end here under some pressure will bank that off the boards. Ryan Reagan there as well. Down behind the net again here. This is Reagan who will send it up the wall. Good work by Heinmiller to keep it alive for Blake. Physical play along the boards. Bears still keep it alive. Try to go out front. Christian right there to intercept for Orono. And that's going to go into the Blake bench. And out of play as we get a stoppage. 5:06 to go here in the first period. No score between Blake back underway. And a lead right now of nothing for nobody. 0-0 still your score, looking for a first goal. As Blake gets it back into the zone. Williams back out front, trying to find O'Shea. And that one is pushed back into the zone. It'll be an icing here against Orona. So we'll go back down to their end of the ice. Shots in pretty even. Chances have been even as well. Orno with some good looks. Blake with some good looks. I want to remind you of today's coverage of Hockey Night Minnesota on KARE 11 Plus and MN Hockey TV is presented in part by St. Cloud State, XL Energy, Standard Heating and Air, and Top Line Credit Union. We appreciate their support in making tonight's broadcast possible, or this afternoon's broadcast, I should say, on this warm Saturday in the state of hockey. Temps are in the low 50s here today, a little bit warmer than normal for this time of the year. Orono will flip it up the boards here. Chance now for Albrecht down the wing. Albrecht sent it over, just off the stick there of Rauch. Albrecht back out for Lopez. Now Reagan with some space, and a good block that time by the Bears. That's Bisbee who got in front of it. Now trying to play it is Williams, but great back checking there. Turnover here. Williams had it, sent it to the boards as Lopez re-enters the zone. Puck now to the far boards as we're under 4 minutes to play in the opening period. Off a skate. Laying back for Orono. Physical play into the boards there. Dahlem is there. Also Reagan trying to dig that free, or pardon me, that is Rauch for Orono. Her clearance attempt does not work. Kept alive at the blue line. Nessington save in front. Anderson's got it. A little extra shoves after the whistle as well. But a nice job by Vivian Anderson to make the save and get the whistle at 3:19 to go in this opening period. No score between Blake and Orono here on Hockey Night in Minnesota. Off the faceoff, quick chance. Shot from Arthur, hit a teammate. Now Orono able to poke it out. Nice stick by Christian to get that down the ice. And trouble here. That puck came dangerously out front. That was Bakeson that was there for Orono, but McGaughan, good awareness to cover up and prevent that opportunity from developing into anything further here for the Orono Spartans. So ozone face-off for Orono. Peck in the circle for the Spartans. It is won, though, by Blake. As Palmstein will try to grab it now for the Bears. Now Heinmiller. Exit pass intended for Arthur. No icing here. Arthur gets to it first. Thrown back out front. Nobody home in green and blue. Been a good game so far. No penalties between these two teams so far. Peck back up front. Trouble. Where is that puck? Anderson jumps on it at the last moment there. And was able to hold on. Nice grab by Vivian Anderson. Sometimes as a goaltender, you lose track of where those deflections go. And luckily for Anderson, she was able to find it relatively quickly. And get that whistle. And 2:32 to go here in the first of a scoreless game. Chopped out once again by Christian, who's done an excellent job at that. Offside here for Orono, so they'll have to let that flow back out of the zone. Now Bond. Bond's shot blocked. Nice work there by Lang to break it up. Bears work down the near wall. Off the boards, Palmstein. Turned it over. Orono will get this out. Bounce pass. Lopez 2-on-1 with Albrecht. Here's Lopez. Waiting. Stopped by McGaughan. A rebound was loose there for a moment. But it's cleared for the time being. Anderson trying to keep it alive for Orono. Now back into the corner it goes for Kyle. Also working there is Bond as she'll send it for Kyle. Another good look for Orono. But Janie McGaughan has come up with 8 saves so far. Nice toe drag into the move, but running out of room was Williams, who lost the stick as well. Spartans flip it back. Hard hustle here by Felton, who gets to it first. Now Felton down the wing. Drops it off for Halverson. Bounces in on McGaughan, who will grab that puck from Logan, who was knocked down in front. Another great opportunity here from Orono. Orono, of course, ended up taking third at the state tournament last year. It's been a few years since we've seen the Blake Bears back at the state tournament. McGaughan save. Rebound steered away to the corner. Bears up the boards. Nice work to play it forward. Souvignier into the zone. Drop pass here. Nice move toward the backhand, and it's just chopped wide by a duo of Blake players that were there in front. Final minute of play now here in the first, as that one goes off the stick of Hannah Jones. To the boards now. Fanned on the shot on goal attempt. Kept alive, though, by Dahlem, Layla Dahlem, that is. Into the corner it will go. 40 seconds remaining in the period. Up top. Here's the shot deflected in toward goal. And fished out behind the net by the Spartans. Halverson trying to clear. Can't do so. Bisbee deflected. Rebound. Anderson scores! Popped home in front. And the Bears have got the lead 1-0. That is Layla Dahlem, the junior, who gets the goal for Blake. That goal coming with just 24 seconds left in the period as we take a look at the replay. Nice work there to get that one home. Initial save made by Anderson, but couldn't do anything about the second chance opportunity. So Blake on the board here first with just a handful of seconds remaining in the first period. Stretch pass intended up ahead. Anderson will get this one as we'll get another whistle now. 12.4 seconds to go in the period. So that goal is going to go to Dahlem, if I'm not mistaken. See if we can get the official public address note in a moment. Right off the face-off, just sent wide on the chance there from Arthur. Orono will go up the boards. Christian takes a hard tumble. And that one, whoa, look out. That one catches the top of the glass and goes out of play here. 1.2 seconds left. So one last chance here for Blake. Off this face-off, they're going to have to get a quick shot. That one will be covered by Anderson, and that's going to do it for the first period. Only goal coming with 24 seconds remaining. And it looks like Layla Dahlem with the goal for Blake as she makes it 1-0. Shots on goal in the first period. Pretty even, but 12-10 advantage for the Blake Bears as they get the goal from Dahlem. We'll see if there's any assist on that goal as well. Souvignier with one of the assists. I didn't quite catch the first assist, but Ruby Souvignier, the sophomore, will pick up one of the assists on that goal. Well, thanks for joining us here on Hockey Night Minnesota. Once again, the action tonight presented in part by Xcel Energy, Top Line Credit Union, Standard Heating and Air, and St. Cloud State University. We appreciate their support in making today's broadcast possible. After one period of play, it is Blake 1 and Orono 0. See here, Eden Prairie leading Hibbing Chisholm 1-0. Of course, Eden Prairie played last night here on MN Hockey TV against Grand Rapids Greenway. So we are ready to go. Not quite. This is the official. We were just making sure everybody was set there on the face-off. So we'll get ready to go here. Now for the center ice face-off as we're underway. Orono and Blake, a 1-0 lead for the Blake Bears here. And their big strengths has been their goaltender, Janie McGaughan, who will be one of the favorites for the Jory Jones Senior Goalie of the Year award. Here's a chance for Blake the other way. A breakaway. Scores! What a start to the period, just 21 seconds in. And Allie Burns, the freshman, makes it 2-0. What a play there. And what a goal. And I believe that will be the first varsity goal for her as well. Check out the replay. 2-0 now in favor of Blake. What a start to the period. Just a minute 24 in. And so Blake leads this one now 2-0 after the goal from the freshman Allie Borms. See what kind of response we get from Orono. This is now a 2-0 lead. They have not faced this deficit so far this year. In fact, they've only allowed one goal in each of their first two games. So they are not used to being in a position like this. Now Bankston at the line, trying to slow it down for Orono. Great goal, though, finishing on the backhand there for Borms. We have a arm up for what looks to be an icing here against Orono. So we'll go back down. Let's take a look at that goal one more time if you just are joining us for the second period. And it is Allie Borms, her first career varsity goal for the Blake Bears. They take a 2-0 lead here over the host Orono Spartans. Puck goes to the corner. Blake now trying to continue this offensive surge to start the period. Up to the point. Chance out in front just goes wide of Anderson. Nola Dahlem now with it as well. Dahlem trying to play it out front. Still with it. Dahlem looking for a lane. Back up top. Addie Wethington working her way in. Off the skate. Clear to the boards there by Halverson. And now cleared, but not out. Now finally Orono will get it out. Looks like Hartman lost the stick there for Orono, who was in the middle of a change as well. Oh, here's a break. Lopez is denied by McGaughan. What a chance there. That was Orono making a change right in front of their bench. Now Orono back with it again. Albrecht behind the net it goes. Rauch out in front. Couldn't find a teammate. As Blake will race forward now through center. Good intercept. Lopez 2-on-1 with Rauch maybe. And the referee playing a little interference there. Across the ice it goes. McGaughan got a piece of it there on the chance from Rauch. Now Reagan at the point. And on goal, McGaughan will jump on the rebound as well. And we get a whistle. 14:28 to go here in the second period. McGaughan with a couple of big saves, though, as we expected that pushback from the Orono Spartans, and they're doing just that here, getting some shots to open up this second period. 2-0 lead for Blake. This one's cleared down the ice. We are going to have an icing call here against the Bears, so we'll go back down to their end. Gone so far with a save percentage that has not been up to her standards, 907, but only through 2 games. And of course, that Breck game that they lost mostly had to do with that. And so far today, stopped all 13 she's faced. Chance for Blake. Steered away into the corner. O'Shea now back out front, finds a teammate. Sending it wide was Bond off the feed from behind the goal line. Now another chance. O'Shea trying to get it back. Now it's sent down the ice by Reagan. Albrecht won't be able to get there, though, before the icing. So we're going to send it back down to the Orono end this time. 13:54 to go here in the second. Reminder, tonight's coverage of Hockey Night Minnesota presented in part by Xcel Energy, Top Line Credit Union, Standard Heating and Air, and St. Cloud State University. We appreciate their support in making this broadcast possible here from Orono Morrison Arena. This one chased to the corner. Christian behind the net for Orono. Peck along the boards. Alex Christian. Now Peck from the wing. Tough angle chance. Denied there. Another opportunity. Hit the post. Now Halverson to the corner. Peck will trade places with Halverson down the wing. Another opportunity goes off the stick. Palmstein now trying to clear. This is Orono's best sequence here in the second period. As Blake could have numbers the other way. They were changing was Orono, but they'll back out of that. Halverson fanned on the clearance attempt. Layla Dahlem now. Off a defender's skate. Dahlem trying to stick with it. Spartans aimed to clear. Ran into the referee there. As it's flipped up. Peck trying to grab it. Settled back down for Reagan, who will get it deep. Blake with a 2-0 lead, a goal in each period so far for the Bears. Scored just 21 seconds into this second period on the goal from Allie Borms, her first varsity goal. And this will be held on to by McGaughan after the attempt there. Orono has now 15 shots on the afternoon so far compared to Blake 13, so that I believe is their first time leading the shots on goal department here this afternoon. Queen went off the faceoff for Blake. Wethington turned it over behind the net. All sorts of pressure there from the Spartans. Will come now to the far boards. Ness Tingen able to keep it in, or not able to keep it in, rather. Sydney Christian behind the boards there. Now that one blocked. And Blake will get a power play coming up here. The stick was slashed right out of the hands of Callie Arthur. And so Orono is going to have a penalty against them here in our first power play of the game. We'll go to the Blake Bears. Slashing is the call on Lucy Hartman. This has been a clean game up to this point, but our first power play will go to Blake as they have an opportunity now to extend their lead to 3-0 on this power play. Albrecht trying to clear. Nice work by her to pop that puck out of the zone. And Blake will re-enter now. Borns, who just scored moments ago for the Bears. Up top it goes now. Blake getting set up on the power play. Bond fanned on it. Sliding work to get that out. And Orono will clear it down as McGonn's going to come way out here to the circle to leave this for Elizabeth Salonek, the 8th grader for Blake, who is going to be a big part of this team this year as well. Bond back in over the line, took a tumble, back up on her feet and falls down again. Behind the net, Bears still working here. Now Williams from the left. Hash. Back below the goal line. O'Shea. Now one ricochets off a stick. Could be a chance for Orono the other way. Lopez with Rauch. Here's Lopez and just couldn't get it toward the front. Rauch trying to get it now in the corner. Looking back for Lopez. That is turned over. And here comes Blake, 2-on-2. Williams across. That shot is blocked by Sydney Christian. And now Lopez again. Here's Lopez cutting in. Save McGonn. Rebound scores! Alex Christian. Short-handed goal for Orono. And the lead is down to 2-1 in favor of Blake. Take a look at this replay. This is all set up from Lopez. She's going to get the primary assist, but Alex Christian with the goal for Orono. It's a shorthanded marker as well. It's a 2-1 here with 10:25 to go in the second period. That's a big goal as Christian wants another here. But getting to the puck first will be Addie Wethington. And how about the stick of Christian today? Just all sorts of poke checks to stop these Blake rushes. 9 seconds left on the Blake power play as they enter the zone. Chance down the wing, kick save made by Anderson on the attempt from Callie Arthur. Penalty over. Good of a PK as you could ask for Orono as they kill it off. And they get the shorthanded goal here to make it 2-1. Bears still in the offensive zone. Slid over to the point. Anderson will steer that one away into the netting off the shot attempt from Bella Bisbee. So Orono with a much-needed kill and a shorthanded goal as they have cut the lead in half here on home ice. Off the face-off. Chance right out in front. Anderson will put the glove down to make the save. 9:27 remaining here, so we're inching closer to the halfway mark of the second period. Orono will take it off the face-off. Logan will dump it in. Hartman, physical play into the corner. Hartman able to find a teammate now near the far boards. There's a chance. McGaughan will steer that one away. Puck gathered in by the Bears as they look to clear now. Layla Dahlem 1-on-3 into the zone. Dahlem shot broken up. into the corner as Orono will get that to the line, but kept in again by Blake. Another chance here from Allie Borms. Orono will bank it out. And Hartman will send it in deep for Orono. Back to retrieve. Kyle. Now for Jones up the wing. Jones will dump it in. So we mentioned earlier, Jones playing her former team here today. Played a few years with the Orono Spartans before transferring to Blake at the start of last season. Now Lopez down the wing with a chance. Lopez, Pat saving the gone. Rebound kept alive by the Spartans. Another try out front. Broken up as Kyle sends it up the wall. Looking there for O'Shea. Now Sydney Christian back as she faces some pressure from Bond. Bounced out. Palmstein will retreat. Under 8 minutes to play in the second period. 2-1 lead for Blake. One goes off the stick. Christian's got it. Sydney Christian, that is. And Rauk now looking to go back over for Lopez. They're offside. So the referee was there to make the call. Stops the clock. 7:39 to go in this second period. Certainly, this definitely has been a more rejuvenated Orono squad here in this second period, especially since the goal. They are out shooting the Blake Bears right now in the second period by a 9-2 margin. 9-3, pardon me. Now Blake back in. Anderson again able to steer that one out of play with the stick. It's Callie Arthur with the shot on goal there, number 16 on the shot attempt. Face-off win for Blake. Trouble there at the line. Puck will bounce out as Bengtson tried to grab it. Now a nice move back in. Nola Dahlem down the wing. Pat save Anderson. Dahlem gets it again. Now Dahlem back in. The shot in on goal. Anderson makes the save. Addie Wethington with the shot attempt that time for Blake as they get a couple more shots on the goaltender, Vivian Anderson. 7:06 to play in this second period. Arthur wins it back. And dumped to the corner now by Salonik. Salonik pinches in to keep it for the Bears. Nola Dahlem as well. Back behind the net, Sydney Christian to retrieve for Orono. In a board battle here with Arthur. Arthur trying to get it free. Nice work by Arthur. Out front, Anderson makes the glove save as there's a collision after the play as well. But again, nice work by Blake to fish that out from the corner. Get it toward the front. Another shot opportunity. As now the shots are evened up here at 19 apiece. A lot of time here in the Orono zone the last couple minutes, and we'll do things over again on the face-off after it went right back to Anderson. Anderson, of course, is a junior. Probably one of the top junior goaltenders in the state, both in Class A and AA. Here's a shot. Anderson will make that save one more time. Now Sydney Anderson up ahead of Rauk, looking for Albrecht a little bit too far there. We're going to have an icing call against the Spartans. So we will go back down to their end of the ice. So the face-off to the left of Anderson. Clean win. Shot is blocked as Orono will take it out. Pushed into the zone. Grabbed here by Salonik. And Jones over the line. Jones takes the collision in the corner. Puck comes free for the Spartans. Sydney Anderson will play it here. Looking for Lopez. Route there as well. She'll glide it up the wall. Here's Lopez. Dropping it back off a skate. Bisbee will send that up in the air. Now Blake will get it down, but it's going to be an icing here against the Bears with 5:32 to go here in the second period of play. Just joining us, 2-1 lead for Blake. They had a goal in the final minute of the first period and the first minute of the second period. So they took a 2-0 lead. Then Orono responded with a shorthanded goal from Alex Christian about midway through the period. And that is where we stand right now. 2-1 lead for Blake. Orono in the corner now. Bears looking to send it up. Arthur lost her footing there. Went down, but now Orono will get it out of the zone. Palmstein back for Blake, being harassed here in her own end by Stella Bankson. A couple of other Orono players, including Alex Christian, in there as well. Now Arthur. Couldn't find the stick of Williams. Puck back toward the center ice red line. Orono will spin back. Christian on it as Peck will slide it across. Dumped into the zone. Logan will hustle after it. Working there against Kyle. Hard collision along the boards. Off a skate. Bounces out in front. Now taking it over is Williams, who can't clear. Kept alive by the Spartans as they'll work down low. Sydney Anderson. Bank pass to the point. Now one kicked away. McGaugh, another save. Scramble for it. It's picked up now by the Spartans. They work in the corner there by Felton to keep it alive. And McGaugh again will pop on a couple of big saves there for Janie McGaugh, the senior goaltender for the Blake Bears, who of course is committed to Dartmouth, where she will continue her college career. .403 left in the second period, as Blake will take this face-off in their own end. Wethington now reverses course. This is the forecheck of Orono that's been so good. They do a nice job of pitting their opponent in their own end, making it difficult to get pucks like this out of the zone. And you're seeing Blake struggle to break out here because of it. Now Wethington off his stick, just a little too hard for Nola Dahlem. Bounce behind the net as Orono now looks to clear. Bears with it. They keep it alive. Pass across, one-timer. Anderson makes the save off the Nola Dahlem attempt. To the far boards, Messington. Back out front. Work there by Halverson to the boards. Up the wall now. Albrecht for Raul. Lopez just straddles the line to stay on side. Over. Here's Lopez, and Gone makes a nice save in close on Gabby Lopez, the sophomore for Orono. Leading scorer entering today for the Spartans with 5 points. Probably one of the best sophomores in the state as well as Gabby Lopez. Off the face-off. Sent off the boards there. As Emery keeps it alive for Orona. Down to the corner. Christian being watched intently on the play. Christian knocked down to the ice, still working there. Hard play along the boards. Christian back up on her feet. Now Christian slides it over. One deflects into the corner. Be tracked down again by the Spartans here. As Peck has it. Opens up. Here's Peck. Deflected. Doesn't get through. And now grabbed by Jones, who will try to clear. caromed off the boards, back out through center as Lang has it here for the Spartans. Now moving it into the zone. Benson hands off for Hartman. Hartman now along the boards. Few Blake players in there as well, as we're under 2 minutes to go in the period. Cycled back down low to the corner. Now Logan still battling there. Ran into a couple of Blake players. Out front, Hartman's pass couldn't be put home. It was Felton who was on the receiving end of that opportunity. Now Blake will clear it down. They just needed to get that puck out of the zone, and they will here with 1:24 to go in the second period. It's been a back and forth period. Orono has probably had the better of the chances here in the second. McGaughan has come up big. 21 saves for McGaughan and 20 saves at the other end for Vivian Anderson. Off the faceoff, a win for Blake as they'll look to break out of the zone. Anderson hard to the boards. Lopez in there as well for Orono. Trying to take that puck free. Albrecht now dug out by Arthur. He was getting a little close to her own end, but now we'll play up the boards. Now Blake, 1 minute to go in the period. As they re-enter the zone, that one's going to go way out of play there on the shot from Williams. May have been deflected there as well. Reminder that today's coverage of Hockey Night Minnesota here on Care 11 Plus and MN Hockey TV brought to you in part by Xcel Energy, Top Line Credit Union, Standard Heating and Air, and St. Cloud State University. We appreciate their support in making today's coverage possible here from Orona. This one's going to go up ahead. Albrecht will race to it. Albrecht dropping it back. Save McGaughan, who came out to make a monster save there. What a stop from McGaughan. Probably her best save of the game. We'll take a look at it on the replay. What a save from McGaughan. We're used to seeing that with her. Of course, we mentioned she's going to be one of the favorites for the Jory Jones Award, the Senior Goalie of the Year. Final 33 seconds. Orono with a good push here to end this period. Christian looking for Bengtson, couldn't find her. Wethington up the wall. Now Wethington in trouble, and back to get it is Christian for Orona. Up the wall. Here comes Peck, good speed. Dishes off the wall. Working there is Wethington. Now Blake will have to spin back. 5 seconds to go in the period. Wethington just going to eat this one along the boards and kill the rest of the period off. What a surge there, though, from Orono at the end of that period. As they trail on the scoreboard, though, 2-1 in favor of the Blake Bears. Scoring summary for you that period. First for Blake, just 21 seconds in. It was Allie Borms, the freshman, with her first career varsity goal. And then Orono with a shorthanded goal from Alex Christian, the junior, picking up where she left off last year with the goal there. Shots on goal through 2 periods of play are 23-21 in favor of the host Orono Spartans. Well, it's been a great game here so far from the Orono Morrison Arena. Looking forward to what should be a good third period between these two teams. It's Blake 2, Orono 1 after 2 here on MN Hockey TV and Care 11 Plus Hockey Night Minnesota. I'm Matt Harrington with you here from Orono. We'll be back for the third period right after this. Welcome back here to the Orono Morrison Ice Arena. Score is 2-1 in favor of the visiting Blake Bears through 2 periods of play. Shots on goal through 2 periods are 23-21 in favor of Orono. Back and forth middle period there, and the go-ahead goal from Blake, or rather I should say the second goal from Blake to put them up 2-0. Allie Bormis, the freshman, with her first career varsity goal. And then, of course, we have that shorthanded goal as well from Alex Christian. That was off the only penalty of the game to believe that was a tripping or a slashing call to Orono's Lucy Hartman. We'll see what this third period brings us here. 2-1 lead. It's been a phenomenal game so far. Everything you could ask for. Some big saves by the goaltenders, some nice goals, and a really competitive hockey game here in what could very well be a potential state tournament matchup between these two teams. Of course, Blake in Section 4A and Orono in Section 5A. Here we go for the start of the third period, underway at Orono Morrison Arena. As the Bears will look to enter the offensive zone. Here's Williams, had it knocked away. Williams, of course, one of the varsity newcomers, moved here to Minnesota from Anaheim, California. Out of the zone now it will go. Kyle, helping it back for Williams. Now Williams down the wing. It's space into the zone. Tried to flip it out front. Anderson was ready. Williams now across. Kyle deflected in on goal. Anderson the save. Orono will get it out. Lopez trying to get to it, but getting there was Palmstein. Kyle also in there as well for the Bears. Minute into the third and final period of regulation. Orono had a great push at the end of that second period to try and get the tie goal, but they could not get the winning, or rather the tying goal. They did have some great looks, though. A couple of big saves by McGaughan at the end of that second period. Now Peck with it for Orono. Peck will spin away. Lang, shot on goal. McGaughan, not sure if she saw that all the way, but did get enough to make the save as the puck will jump the stick of Lang and go off of Peck's stick as well. Orono needing a change here. Blake will take advantage. Here they come. Heinmiller into the zone. Heinmiller, pad save Anderson. Puck will bounce out of the zone and be collected by Hannah Jones for Blake. Anderson will have to come out and play this here. She'll stiff it to the corner. Now Sydney Christian in there for Orono as the Spartans look to clear the zone. Blake on the attack. Pass up front, just wide on the second chance there from Arthur. And Orono will have it again. This is Bankson. Now Nestington. Trying to play it forward here for Orona. D to D. Almost a turnover. Orono does get it out. That was a great looking chance potentially. Now a chance for the Spartans is slid wide. Blake will get that out of the zone. It'll go back down for Lang, who will retrieve. Off a skate. Souvignier in the corner for Blake, off the side of the net. Bounced out front. Puck still loose. And blown dead by the official. The puck was available there for a moment. I think Anderson ended up finding it through the scrum in front. Was able to make the save, but on the whack. That one loose behind Anderson, trying to tuck it in at the side, battling forward in front, and Anderson again somehow able to keep that puck down. That was another good look for Blake as they try to go up by 2 again here. Remember, they scored early in the second period. In fact, just 21 seconds in to the middle period. We have a penalty coming up here to Orono. It's going to be on Lauren Albrecht. And it must have been on that sequence there in front of the net. So Albrecht goes to the box. Blake gets their second power play of the day. And of course, they'll hope it will go better than their first one, which they gave up a short-handed goal to Orona. So power play for Blake. Orona able to get it out. Here comes the speedy Alex Christian. Unable. Cross-checking the penalty, by the way, on Albrecht officially. Back into the zone. Anderson trying to grab it. Jones on the forecheck for Blake. Down to the corner. Nifty move. Arthur had it knocked off her stick at the moment. Now Christian trying to clear. Kept alive by Hein-Miller. Hein-Miller, her shot may have hit a teammate there on the way through. Spartans will airlift that out. And it bounces right for Lopez. Here's Gabby Lopez. Stopped by McGaughan. What a save from McGaughan. They have been feeding Lopez on the breakaway all day long. And Lopez just can't seem to beat McGaughan. Another monster save there from the senior goaltender. One of the best in the state. You see why right there. Would have been the second short-handed goal of the game for Orona. Back into the zone comes Blake. Here's Bond down the wing. Noah Bond waiting. Into the corner now. Holding it. Trying to send it across for Salinek. Goes instead for Mackenzie Williams. Deep to deep. Shot from the point. Anderson the save. Scramble for it in front. Still available. Orno will take it. 2-on-2. Here they come. Lucy Rauch will dump that one in off the boards and get it deep. 28 seconds left on the penalty for Orno. And Blake will come back. Here they come. 3-on-2 maybe. And offsides at the line. That would put a halt to whatever chance would have been brewing there for the Blake Bears. So the neutral zone face-off here. 19 seconds left on that penalty. As Orno tries to kill off their second penalty of the day. Blake has taken no penalties here today. Just the two for Orno. And it's intercepted as Peck will grab it along the line. Now Peck down the wing. Anderson on the flex for McGaughan as she'll leave it off behind the net. Salinek. Penalty over. So Blake now 0 for 2 on the power play. Orno nearly scored another shorthanded goal, but they were bailed out by their goaltender McGaughan. Williams backhands that one in as she ran into the referee. Stick by Williams to keep that in deep as she's tangled up there with Ryan Reagan. Now Arthur from the boards. Arthur intercepted it. Able to force that out. One into the zone. Christian will drop it back here for Reagan. We'll dump it deep. 11 minutes to go. We played 6 minutes here in the third period. Still a 2-1 lead for Blake as they re-enter the O-zone. And Jones down the wing. Jones out front, just forced wide by Hein-Miller on the second chance. Hein-Miller will get to the loose puck. Hein-Miller cutting toward the front. Just ran out of room. Orno will play it. Lopez cutting in, another breakaway. Lopez kicked away by McGaughan. Lopez trying to settle that puck down. Launches it toward goal. Loose for Rauch out front. Ricocheted off the boards. Halverson will pinch in to keep it. Blake trying to get it past Halverson. They can't clear. Rauch in the mix as well for Orno. Puck comes free. Halverson will play it in the neutral zone here for the Spartans as Halverson finds Rauch. Rauch down the wing, and Halverson's shot broken up. It's loose out front, knuckleball puck. Save McGaughan, another try. And McGaughan makes another stop. Well, the Spartans are pushing hard here for the tying goal. Led in part thanks to Gabby Lopez. She's had a number of great chances here in this third period, but so far the tying goal still missing for Orno. So 2-1 remains the lead here for Blake. Out of the zone, no, as Peck keeps it alive. Peck cutting it on the forehand, save made McGaughan. Peck another try, hit the side of the net. Christian McGaughan with no stick at the moment here in goal. Now back towards Christian out front. McGaughan's got it. Now she'll have the chance to grab that stick. Well, the Spartans been dominating this third period here. 9:24 to go. This has been a phenomenal hockey game between these two teams. First and only meeting of the regular season, but I think it's very possible we could see these two teams at the state tournament in St. Paul at the end of February. Orono with it now. Works back up top for Lang. Into the corner. Logan trying to work there to free up that puck, but instead the Bears get it out. Worked forward. Here's a chance for Blake. Hannah Jones on the backhand is stopped by Anderson. Now Williams working it free. Williams handcuffed. Couldn't get the shot off there. And Anderson will get it out of the zone for now. Back it will go for the Blake Bears. And Mackenzie Williams at center. Picked off there by Bankson. Now Wethington back for Blake. Callie Arthur lost her footing and the puck is loose. Stolen away. Trying to go inside out on the defender. Didn't work. Another try for Orono. Feeding it through the slot. Nobody home. Oh my goodness. Callie Arthur, bad time to lose a edge there as it almost cost her team. Now Sydney Christian. Hartman, they stay on side. Hartman fires, that's blocked. Into the corner now as Blake will take it back behind the net. 7:40 to go here in the third period. What a fast-paced game this has been all night. Now stolen away, Arthur. Try to go towards the high slot. Hartman intercepts, she'll take it forward. 2-on-2 for Orno if they can hurry. Good stick to break that up though. Blake dumping it in. Hein-Miller stays on her feet. Getting to it, though, is Halverson here for Orono. Now Albrecht will play it forward. Palmstein. Turned over right to Lopez, who is knocked down at the line. Orono fans wanted a penalty there for body checking, but none will be called. Kyle behind the net. Lopez trying to pick up that loose puck and does. Here's Lopez circling the waters. Her shot blocked. Lopez now into the corner. Intercepted by Blake. And the Bears, Bryn Hein-Miller will get that out. Much needed change for Blake. Everybody will change except for Jones, who will stay out on the ice for the Bears. Off the wall. Here's Bond to the front. Anderson able to make the stop as Bond tangled up now in the corner, trying to free up that loose puck. Puck is gloved loose in front, and Anderson makes the save. There were a few players from both teams who were still stuck in the corner, thinking that that puck was still along the boards. So Anderson had some help in front. A nice save made by her to get the save there. 6:14 to go here in this third period. That's going to deflect up and out of play. We'll do the face-off again here in this opportunity. Shots are 32-30 in favor of Orono. Spartans take it out of the zone as they look for the tying goal here. Dumped in deep by Logan. Oh, that took a carom out front. Vaughn will make the save. This game, of course, is going to have an impact on our top 11 rankings for next week in girls Class A. the faceoff now. Here is Peck for Orono. Peck behind the cage. Bounces it for Halverson. First shot blocked. Halverson gets some assistance, though, from her teammate in Sydney Christian. As Orono will reset here. Pass for Peck. Just could not find the stick. And a stick lift out of the hands. Getting it on goal. And McGaughan will cover it up there on the opportunity from Lauren Albrecht. As Orono continues to push hard here for this tying goal. Reminder, today's coverage of Hockey Night Minnesota on KARE 11 Plus and MN Hockey TV is brought to you in part by Xcel Energy, Topline Credit Union, Standard Heating and Air, and St. Cloud State University. We appreciate their support making tonight's broadcast possible. Here's a break for Blake potentially, and now Orono will take it 2-on-1, Lopez and Albrecht. Here's Lopez, stopped again by McGaughan. So many chances for Gabby Lopez, but cannot find a way to beat McGaughan. Now Lopez back into the zone again, poked away last second there by Wethington. Lopez now had it stolen away. Williams toward the front. That one caught Lopez in the skates. Williams will dump it to the corner. 4:45 left here. As Orono pushes for the tying goal, but stuck in their own end here. Bond dropping it back. Bisbee, save Anderson. Puck goes to the boards. Albrecht will clear it down and allow for a change. Blake's got to hurry here to try and take advantage of this. Bisbee working behind the net. Bisbee up to the point. Save Anderson. Off the shot from the freshman Salonik. Pardon me, the 8th grader Salonik. Now Alex Christian, who scored the only goal earlier for Orona, had her attempt blocked. Gathered in by Heinmiller here, as we're under 4 minutes now to go in regulation. Still a 2-1 lead for Blake. McGaughan will glove this one out of midair to get a stoppage here. 3:52 remaining here at the Orono Morrison Ice Arena. What a game this has been. Off the face-off. We'll come back into the Blake zone. Bears will stretch the ice here. Good speed down the wing. Nola Dahlem into the zone. Drop pass. Here's a chance. Anderson the save. Off the opportunity from Bond. Blake still with it now. Here's Williams toward the front. Anderson got a piece of that with the stick. Now Gabby Lopez has got it again. Trying to find Albrecht. Ricochets off her stick. Shots of 34-34. Up to the line. Blake will jump on it. 2-on-2 into the zone. Staying with it. Here's Bond. Stick save Anderson, and she'll cover up for a whistle. Under 3 minutes now to go. 2:58 remaining here in the third. Face-off will be to the left of the goaltender Anderson. Lang will play it in the corner. Off the boards here for Alex Christian. Bounced out through center. Here's Logan down the right wing side for Orono. Logan out front. Christian stopped by McGaughan. Probably one of the best chances of the night right there for Orono. Now Lang in a foot race. Going to get some help here from Reagan of the Spartans. Poke to the line. Puck comes out. Blake will send it back into their own zone. Bisbee will have to retrieve under some pressure as Orono gets to it first. 2:20 to go. We'll keep an eye on the goaltender, Vivian Anderson, for Orono to see if she comes to the bench for the extra attacker. Now Christian turned it over. Trying to re-enter the zone. Jones back into the corner. Up top, finds Bond with the stick. Nice work by Bond to get it to the circle. Bond, under 2 minutes now to play. Orono will look to get this puck out and get Anderson off the ice. Offside here. 1:50 to go. See if the Spartans decide to use their timeout here or if they'll wait. This is about typically when you see it, the coaches take a timeout in a trailing effort. No timeout from Orono. Well, Blake had one less player out on the ice. Not sure why they only had 4 out there, but Arthur is now out on the ice. So a little confusion, I think, there from Blake. And now this face-off, no idea what's going on here. The one referee signaled it should go into the Blake zone, and the other ref says, no, we're keeping it right here. Not sure why it would go back into the Blake zone. It was just an offside call. So the faceoff stays in the neutral zone with 1:48 left. Anderson will get the signal from the bench here as soon as Orono can clear it out of the zone. Kept alive momentarily by Williams. Now Arthur will help get that one deep. Now Christian to the boards. Flipped up through center. Orono will settle it down. Anderson creeping towards the bench, still waiting for the signal here. Out in front, chance and a save. Orono still not pulling the goalie, and now head coach Paul Antonenko saying, hold on. Christian. Orono, oh, trouble, couldn't clear, left it back and stopped by Bond. Or rather, Bond is stopped by Anderson. Good call from Orono, who will now use their timeout to talk things over here with 1:07 left. So good decision by head coach for the Spartans, Paul Antonenko, to keep the goaltender Anderson in goal. If he did not, that probably would have sealed the deal with an empty net goal. So Orono timeout. Spartans have been pushing hard here in the period. 1:07 on the clock. Face-off is in the Spartan zone, so Anderson will have to stay put for now until they can get it out. I want to remind you today's coverage is brought to you in part by Top Line Credit Union, Xcel Energy, Standard Heating and Air, and St. Cloud State University. Thanks to their coverage, we were able to bring you this game on Care 11 Plus. We appreciate their support of high school hockey here in the state of Minnesota. So 1:07 remains. Blake will have an offensive zone face-off, so Orono will have to get this out quick to get Anderson off the ice. We'll see if they can do so. Here we go. Miller in the circle against Lucy Rauch. Blake wins it, quick shot, and Anderson was ready for that one. So we'll do it over again here with 1:04. This time Orono able to chip it off the boards. And Lopez trying to get it out. It just pops out, but right back in comes Dahlem. She'll send it deep to the boards. Now 50 seconds to go. Orono desperately trying to get this puck and their goaltender to the bench. And now Anderson will come. Rauch slowed down at the line, able to get it into the zone. Halverson there to keep. Blake able to take it out, trying to force it deep. Peck will have to get to it here as pressure from Noah Dahlem. Peck off the boards, couldn't clear. Miller keeps for Blake. Dahlem toward the empty net, broke it up in front by Orono, still loose, and they score! Empty net goal for Blake. I believe it will go to Bryn Miller. And the Bears are up by 2 now with 19.7 seconds to go. As we take a look at the empty net goal there from the sophomore, Brina Heinmiller. We'll put the finishing touches on a very solid win from Blake. Had to withstand quite the pressure there in the third period, but they are going to walk away winners here this afternoon. Orono behind the net. Blake looking for another. Spartans will clear that one down, but the clock is going to hit zeros here in a big win this afternoon for the Blake Bears. 3-1 over the Orono Spartans here as they outshoot Orono 38-35, but the Spartans gave it their all. They pushed very hard, just couldn't find a way to get that tying goal late, and so Orono will suffer their first loss of the year. Orono falls to 2-1. Blake now will improve to 2-1. Certainly the best performance of the year here so far by the Blake Bears. And they get back on track after their defeat to the Brett Mustangs earlier this week. Well, what a game here today. We'll take you through the scoring summary one more time. First for Blake, back in the final minute of the period, it was Layla Dahlem, the junior, with the goal. Then Allie Bormis, the freshman, with her first career varsity goal. And then Orono got on the scoreboard with a Alex Christian shorthanded goal. And then the Bears, of course, get the empty netter from Brina Heinmiller to finish off a 3-1 victory. What a game here today. Blake improves to 2-1, Orono falling to 2-1. A very good chance, I think, that we see these teams at the newly renamed Grain Casino Arena in St. Paul for the state tournament. Both of them are going to be favored, I think, in their sections. It was a great one today. Once again, final score 3-1 as the teams gather at center ice for a prayer circle. We'll leave you with that. Thanks for joining us here on KARE 11 Plus and MN Hockey TV. I'm Matt Harrington saying so long from Orono. Blake, your winners today, 3-1 over the Orono Spartans. So long, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.